Hey guys, it's your host Janelle Jones. I'm here with Empowerment TV doing a quick plug-in because we're going to get down to some personal and business stuff that is stopping us from really getting to where we want to be. Janelle, what the heck are you talking about? Listen, I am glad that you asked. We're going to really take a dive into self-sabotage. Now, I don't know about y'all, but your sister girl over here has had some struggles with self-sabotaging. For 2024, I promised myself that I was going to go all in. I'm going to show up like I've never done before. I'm going to really plant my feet and do those things that I know I was called to do. But in order to do that, I had to really identify one thing that was happening. One thing that was stopping me, one thing that I knew that really challenged me in the past from reaching those big goals. And that thing was self-sabotage. So let's get into it. Now, if you know me, y'all know I like to break down definitions of things because when we understand the anatomy of a word, we really truly understand what that means. So when we talk about self-sabotage, all of us are aware of what that is, but we're going to really dig deeper into what that refers to and what that looks like. So self-sabotage refers to the unconscious or intentional actions, behaviors, or thought patterns that hinder an individual's personal or professional growth, success, or well-being. It involves engaging in behaviors that undermines, let me repeat that. It involves engaging behavior that undermines one's own goals, aspirations, or positive outcomes, often due to deep-seated fears, lack of confidence, or negative self-perceptions. Now, I know I read a lot. I still got more to read, but I know I read a lot. But I do want to take a step back because I want you to unlock the full understanding of what self-sabotage is, okay? So it refers to the unconscious or intentional. So sometimes we do this unconsciously. Sometimes we do it intentionally. You know, we are we got out of a horrible relationship with someone. You know, we're processing through that. We meet someone new and the person comes along and they're treating us well. And we're like, what is this? Wait a minute. When the other shoe going to drop? Because we don't see the toxic behaviors or the actions, we begin to self-sabotage because we are looking for something negative to happen. So this is the unconscious or intentional actions, behaviors, or thoughts that we have that hinder. So think about what hinders your growth or what have you done to hinder your growth professionally or in your business, okay? Now, it also goes on to say it involves engaging in behaviors that undermine your own goals, aspiration, and positive outcome. So we self-sabotage. When we do that, we undermine. Okay, so undermining is like you're going behind yourself. Have you ever had a friend who backstabbed you? Let's say you had 3 friends. Y'all cool, y'all ace-boo cool, y'all go back, since baby and pacifiers, right? So you are so cool. But then let's say it's 3 of you and 2 of you are really close. But the one that you're really close goes back and everything that you're telling her or the plan, let's just say you have an idea or you're creating a business and everything that you're doing in a business, she's going behind your back and undermining you. She's going behind your back and taking everything that you have said and done and creating another plan, or she's going to be above you or beyond you in order for her plans to work and not yours. So basically, I'm going against myself when it comes to my own goals, aspirations, and positive outcomes. Do y'all hear that? We do that unconsciously or intentionally because we are afraid. Does it make sense? That's one of the big things that is said. So in order for us to do this, we're afraid. It's some deep-seated fears. That stuff is deep down. Deep down. Deep-seated fears that's there. The lack of self-confidence or negative self-perception. And really it's either all 3. But recognizing and addressing self-sabotage tendency is critical for achieving personal empowerment and breaking free from these actual patterns that impede your progress. Why am I talking about this today? Again, a lot of us are undermining ourselves We created this goal. I just created this goal workshop, right? This goal ambition workshop. We take those goals, these powerful goals, these big goals, goals that we believe that God really inserted in us, downloaded into us, these outrageous, beautifully wonderful goals that we know God placed in us. We do that, and along the way, we begin to undermine ourselves. It ain't your neighbor. It ain't your cousin, your brother, your sister, your husband, your friend. It's you. That is what we have to stop doing when we are going in our business. So when I'm using this for my coaching practice, it's really understanding that you taking your passion, skills, expertise, something that you have, you know that thing like the back of your hand. And oftentimes God gives us gifts that's inside of us, and we take those gifts to help other people. So you already know what it is. But what you're doing is, you know you have this gift. Some of you haven't even started creating your coaching program or your plan or your business plan. Some of you are just sitting back saying, okay, God, give me a sign. And God like, girl, I done gave you like 5 signs. Like, seriously, you have it. What are you doing? But we're sitting there waiting for the sky to break, for the loud clouds to drop down and say, here's your sign. That's not going to happen. Really, what you have to understand is that the power that you have on the inside of you, that God power that's on the inside of you, is how you're going to be able to reconnect to your passion, skills, and gifts. But if you don't sit down long enough to hear what those are, you're going to be 65 years old, still trying to figure out why you're here. But then once you know, because some of us don't know, some of us know, but we're not moving. It's in the therapy world, we go through the stages of changes, right? Where we start with pre-contemplation. We don't know. We don't know we got the problem. We ain't trying to fix the problem. And there's really to identify where are your readiness to change, right? That's what the stages of changes are. It's typically used for someone who has a problem with an addiction. And it's there to identify where they're ready to go or how ready they are to move through these changes. Pre-contemplation stage says, I don't even know I have a problem. Holla at you, girl. Right? Then the contemplation stage says, you know what? I do know I have a problem. So there's people who know deep down inside the gift they have the name of their business, they had the outline for their business, they know all this stuff. In fact, it's in their vault from there somewhere and it's been there for 20 years, but they have not taken action. Why is that? Self-sabotage. Okay? Because you're not believing with all of your heart that what you have will help other people. You're either having that deep-rooted fear, that lack of self-confidence, or the negative self-talk, or all 3 of them that is stopping you every which way but loose. Then we have the people who are doing it. They're in the action stage. They getting it done. All right, I got my business. I got my LLC. I'm sending it out on social media. But then they're hearing crickets. Why is that? Now, so just because you're starting a business don't mean that people are going to just flow into your business. You got to do the work. You can have the cure for cancer, but if you're not promoting yourself or you're not connecting with people and you're not really drawing on your network, then nothing's going to happen. So if you have all this information and you're not doing anything, posting on social media once a day or once a week or once a month or once a year or once a quarter is not going to get you what you need. And it's not just necessarily posting on social media. It's also collaborating. Who are you reaching out to? But because we're not confident in ourselves, because we have deep-rooted fears, and because we have that negative self-talk, we ain't moving. So I want you to understand how self-sabotaging or undermining yourself is stopping you. It's stopping you because you're not able to identify or push past those fears. You're not believing in yourself, your abilities, your power, your gifts to really help people, and then you're talking negatively to yourself. Here are some key factors. This is how you know when you're self-sabotaging. I want to share some key factors with you. So the fear of failure. So a lot of times, and these are things that you can help to identify where you are. And these are some self-sabotaging keys or tools or characteristics, I should say, that really is letting you know that you're self-sabotaging. The fear of failure. When we're in the fear of failing, it's really the fear of not meeting an expectation or falling short of any type of goals we have. This can really help lead to self-sabotage. I have this idea, I'm afraid to put it out there because what if they don't buy? You take that fear of failure and you don't do anything with it. Then you have the fear of success. So the fear of success can be triggering, a trigger for self-sabotage because really it is taking on new responsibility. As it can be very intimidating. And what I mean by that is, because I wrote a book called F Fear. And in the F Fear book, what I realized was that when we get into the fear of success, it's really the unknowing. Okay, we're rising up. Now we got to do X, Y, and Z. Now we got to do this. I'm going to give you an example. So I'm like, God, where are my clients at? Where they at, God? Let me see my clients. And I'm having the clients roll in. But God was like, well, you have to open your schedule up to be able to take on more clients. You can't ask for clients, but then when you get them, you're frustrated. So then I'm not setting my mindset of the success because I'm not opening my calendar. Does that make sense? So it's really helping you open your calendar. Low self-esteem. So when you have low self-esteem, you subconsciously sabotage because you don't believe that you deserve success or even positive outcomes. Have you ever been there? Like, you know you want a thing so deeply, so badly, but because you don't understand your self-worth and your esteem is low, you don't believe you deserve it, or you don't have positive outcomes. If you don't believe you deserve a thing, that thing ain't gonna want you. That thing ain't gonna be attracted to you, and you ain't gonna get that thing. You have to know that you know that you know that you deserve whatever you're wanting. Clients, positions, freedom, whatever that is, you have to know. Perfectionism. Listen. This is one that never gets old. I probably talk about perfectionism in almost everything I do because I have been in so many places where people, clients, friends, myself did not move because we were waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time. Does that make sense? So I ended up, one of the things I did was, I'm an executor. If I get an idea, I normally execute, right? But there has been times where I wouldn't move. I was afraid to post because I was afraid. What would they say? I'm making a mistake. Is this right? Should I do this? Can I achieve this? But what I notice is sometimes people won't, like if the I's are not dotted and the T's are not crossed, they are not going to push that go button. They're like, I got this coaching program. I'm expecting 15 people to be in this coaching program within 3 months, but I have to keep building it. It ain't ready yet. I can't put it out there because I'm missing X, Y, and Z. And I always say, and this is a rule of thumb, when you're creating a coaching program, you don't have to be 100% done, let alone be perfect at it. A lot of times you can just only be 25% done and then get your clients and roll from there. But then how do you know if it's a good coaching program or business or whatever you're striving to do if you're not having the people in it to let you know? And then you're waiting for this perfect moment. You're not even having anybody test it. You're not doing market research. So how do they know it's going to work? What you do is create it, have people go through it, and then they can tell you what it was, and then you reinvent it. Stop being worried about redoing it or reinventing it or just editing or revising it. People do it all the time. You know who do it all the time? I don't got my phone. Apple. All the time. So stop being worried about, having to revise it. That's okay. And then once you revise it, you can go, you'll probably revise it 2 or 3 more times. Things change, and that's okay. So imposter syndrome is one too. Sometimes we're not pushing forward because we feel like we are frauds or we don't have enough information or we can't even do that. We doubt our own abilities in our coaching programs or business. Does it make sense? Some of us already achieved the thing, accomplished the thing, but we're still struggling. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you my imposter syndrome story. So I have a coaching program called Get Clear and Monetize, right? And the program, again, helps women take their passion, skills, and experiences and expertise and create their own coaching or consulting business. For a year, I struggled with really being like, can I do this program? Can I really teach people how to coach? How can I teach people how to coach if I don't got 10,000 people in my program? Can I really do it, and do I really have what it takes? And one of the things that God reminded me of was, Janelle, first of all, you have your own publishing company. From that publishing company, everything you learned about publishing books, you were able to get clients to teach them the same thing. Does that make sense? Are y'all following me? I'm not bragging. I'm just giving you an example. So you were able to take your coaching program or what you learned from writing your book, publishing your book, becoming an amazing author, Amazon bestseller on mostly all your books. You created programs from your books. You did all these things from your books. Why wouldn't you think you were able to take what you learned to help people how to create, or teach people how to create a coaching program based on what they know? You did it. But in my mind, because I didn't have all these clients and I didn't have all this information, I didn't understand how I was going to do it. And what happens is we think because we don't have this big audience, or we don't have 1,000 likes, that we can't do it. That's not true. I was doing it every single day because I was teaching people how to write books. Okay? So with imposter syndrome, it really is a huge self-sabotage trigger and key. Comfort zone. We don't like to step out of our comfort zone. We like to be comfortable. Sometimes some of us are so comfortable in miserable positions that we rather stay there because it's the devil we know, as opposed to getting out and do something different. Does that make sense? So, okay, I'm going to stay in this relationship because I'm familiar with that. I know the points, and it's talks about if I get out there, if I go out there, I'm afraid that, what's going to happen or what that looks like. I'm comfortable with the familiar. Or I'm at this job and they over here tripping, but I'm afraid to go out there and get another job because if I do, I don't know if the grass is going to be greener on the other side. Or I got this business, or I have this role, I'm an employee, but I want to start my coaching program, but that's going to require me to do some work. Sometimes you're so familiar with the situation is negative, but because you're familiar, you will still remain in it. Okay? Negative self-talk. Now, this is a big one. When you need to understand, negative self-talk is one of the biggest things, or biggest challenges that we can sometimes have when we're pushing past self-sabotage. Why? Because you talk to yourself all the time. You're the only person that you talk to 24 hours a day. Consciously, subconsciously, you always there. No one else knows how much you negatively self-talk, but it's a lot. Because really, that's usually our default, is a negative self-talk. Okay? So for you, it's kind of like going through and having this negative dialogue almost every hour upon the hour. Your doubts, listen, your thoughts create your world, negative or positive. You are where you are because of what you think about. So if you looked at your life right now, I guarantee you it will align with what you've been thinking. You can disagree or not, but it's the truth. But if you were able to realign yourself and your thoughts and your talk, it will change your life. Okay? If you say, I believe this, right? Your words produce. But as soon as you say, or you start to doubt yourself, that produces. Does that make sense? And normally we're negatively producing 10 times faster than we are positively because we're default to think negative. So for you, when you have that negative thought, you have to rewire your brain to immediately think something positive because your thoughts are producing your outcome. And then last, the past traumas. Actually, this is not last, but past traumas is a big one. Oftentimes we have unresolved past traumas that can really, or that does influence our behavior and our individuality. And it's unconsciously there to sabotage us. Why? Because when we have past traumas, listen, when we have past traumas, you have to think about traumas. I don't want to go too deep into this, but trauma impacts our brain. When you have stress responsive, fight, flight, flee, fawn, all those things, you have to understand that that is there to protect you. It wants to survive. Your brain wants to get into survival mode anytime it feels discomfort or pain, every single time. So when you are going and starting your coaching business or your business or consulting business or whatever it is you're doing, and you begin to have these issues, the self-sabotage comes up because your brain is automatically trying to protect you, but it feels potential pain and disappointment. So it shuts down and goes into survival mode. And that one is a deep one. And then finally, limiting beliefs. So belief in self-imposed limitations or adapting negative belief about one's ability is really triggering when it comes to self-sabotage. What do you mean? So when we have these limited beliefs, now it's kind of the same as when we're having that negative self-talk. So if we don't believe here that we can be successful out here, we're not going to be successful out here. Because it starts in here first. There are experiences that have taught you to negatively believe something about yourself. And some of it was unintentional. You had a bad day and somebody said, girl, your hair nappy. Right? Or somebody called you stupid. You then internalized that thing and it became a limiting belief that has now stopped you from really pursuing your goals. This is where we have the problem. So listen, I recently did a goal ambitions workshop, or BAG is like what I like to call it. In this workshop, we really took some time to go through our goals. For me though, it wasn't just about creating vision boards and affirmations, although these are important things to goal creation. But we had to get down to that stuff that was stopping us in our mind, okay? And I really took time to do that. Why? Because if you're not able to really get into your mind's way of stopping you, it's going to be hard for you to fulfill your goals and your dreams. So the first thing you want to do is learn how to really take care of your thoughts, because they end up producing your actions, your behavior, your character, and ultimately your destiny. How do you stop self-sabotaging? If you're looking at all of this, the first thing you need to do is start with yourself. You got to start believing in yourself, your brand. If you don't believe in yourself, your brand, your clients is not going to get into your coaching program. The same energy that you're producing is the same energy that you will attract. So if you're constantly in this desperate state to get clients, you're going to produce desperate clients. So the first thing you have to identify is where you truly want to be in your coaching or consulting business. Become that person. Take time out to study other people to figure out who that person is and become that person that levels up to be who they are. And then listen. These are all things that cause fears and all those things. And you have to understand fear is an emotion that is human nature. Your goal is to press past the fear in order for you to get to where you want to be. Because when you begin to move and take action, it diffuses fear. It builds your confidence and it gives you clearer direction on where you need to go. So I hope this was good for you. I hope that you're able to take this lesson and really use it for your coaching program. And it's also not just for your professional life, but your personal life. There's some things you're doing personally that are sabotaging you, and you need to stop. All right. Listen, I'm going to give you information about the goals, ambition goals workshop. Check out this information. And if you're interested, make sure you click it. And I also have an amazing membership program. And this membership is called Bold, Booked, and Balanced. Now, let me tell you about this membership. Bold, Booked, and Balanced was invented because I was talking to one of my PRs, and then we were talking about, creating something like a membership. And she was like, yeah, booked and busy. And I'm like, I don't believe in that booked and busy stuff, because I think you need to have balance. I think it's nice that people book you. I think it's nice that people sign up for your courses. I think it's nice for all those things. But when I am giving my time, I am giving my energy. And if I'm giving my energy, I have to make sure I'm not taking for the things that's needed in my life. Okay? So we are not just going to be bold or booked. We're going to also be balanced. There's nothing wrong with having your calendar in a place where it's suitable for you, where you're also balancing yourself, okay? That is www.boldbookedandbalanced.com. So I hope to see you there. I hope this message really resided with you. And then please make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'll see you soon. Hey, it's Janelle. Did you miss the opportunity to attend the Bold Ambitious Goals workshop? Well, listen, I was able to take that workshop and turn it into a full course with all the material inside. We went down and did the thing. We sat down, we got clear with God on what our purpose is. We did the goal tracking system. We created some goals. We used ChatGPT to help us. We did some declarations, and we got through self-sabotaging. So if you want your opportunity to get this course, it's currently $27. I also offer an opportunity for my Bold, Booked, and Balanced membership for women. In this membership, we really get down every month and target your business and your personal life so that you can thrive in every aspect of it. Now, if you're interested in that, that's just $27 a month. The link is here as well. I hope to see you soon. Check out this testimony from the workshop.
The youngest person in here, but I really benefited from this workshop because it really gave me the push that I needed, because even though I am young, I have a lot of ideas, and I feel like God already has told me what I'm here to do. Even though I'm only 17, I know I have an idea of what I want to do. So just writing those things down and actually giving myself the foundation of what I need to do going forward was really beneficial, and it'll help me, like she said, do 2024 bigger and better, so I can just do everything that he tells me to do and not be so anxious about it and be scared. So yeah.